So there was a void. I mean, there was nothing in the community to join, man.
That's when things really started breaking down with unity and leadership and the whole so-called black on black, crime. So this started dividing the city, and whoever would stand up to this massive wave movement became the rival to the Crips.
So you can get the leaders of these different cliques together, all right.
Bobby Lavender told the story of him being down in the Bishops and the Crips coming to their neighborhood, so many of them, like 200 or 300 of them, and they hid on his mother's roof for like 6 hours or something like that. And he said, when we get down off this roof, we're never gonna run for them again.
In Athens Park, we always heard the stories of how the Crips, led by Tookie and Jamel Barnes, came to Athens Park to recruit more Crips. And as I'm told, Taboo, Eugene Battle, declined, and they say that Eugene Battle knocked out Jamel Barnes right in the middle of Athens Park. So when you talk about Big Mouse, Cowboy, and Taboo, these are, our forefathers. These are the guys who planted the seeds, to make Athens Park exist today.
And this how Los Angeles started to fall apart amongst, the black community, amongst what they call South Central, Compton, and Watts. And it ended up being Athens Park, the Denver Lanes, the Nixon Garden Bounty Hunters, West Side Pyrus of Compton. The Pyrus and the Bishops and the Bounty Hunters in Athens Park kind of like looked at themselves as being still a part of the blackness, still a part of the black movement in their own little way, because they didn't really understand what the Crips were doing, and they, started calling themselves, blood, my blood brother, that's my blood, that's my brother, you know what I mean? And that was kind of like the beginning of them getting stamped as Bloods. This is the beginning of the end. People started getting killed, and this death got retaliated because of this death, you know what I mean? And then even funerals were assaulted, guys would be burying their loved ones. The Crips would show up and, and terrorize the whole funeral. And then, so whenever a Crip got killed, Bloods would show up and maybe at the wake and kick over the casket, or, my brother told me stories about pouring chicken blood on dead bodies. And, they say Raymond Washingston was famous for killing you twice. He'll kill you, then come to your funeral and kill you again.
I remember one funeral we went to. I can't remember who it was, but it was the Bloods and Crips, Compton Crips.
Right.
The Bloods said at this funeral, they all dressed in black tuxedos, I never will forget it. And they told their parents, the reason why we're dressing in black tuxedos is after this funeral, we going killing. And y'all won't have to buy no tuxes to bury us in these we got.
People are amazed that some people can be, my age and older, 30, and still have some affiliation or still bang or still have some loyalty to these subcultures.
It's what I think a lot of people don't comprehend is the most obvious thing, which is that in the 60s, we still had an economy in this country that valued the strength of an unskilled man. If you were a working class guy, you were tough and loyal and courageous, that meant something in the workplace.
So guys would be in high school, and guys would be banging, and guys would be kind of messing up. Then they'll get to adulthood, they'll get a kid, and they can pretty much segue into one of those industry jobs.
By the, the early mid-1970s, semi-skilled jobs were collapsing and disappearing in cities all across the country.
It used to be my father, y'all's fathers, whatever, whenever people moved here, there was factories.
And now, that shit's closed. Rubber factory's gone, General Motors gone. That's right there in Alameda. Industrial America was right there, you know what I'm saying? That shit died. I saw it die.
The 14 biggest factories in LA closed in the late 70s, early 80s, and stripped away the hopes of a whole generation of people. You have to imagine how the history of LA would be different today if those plants still existed. If the collapse of those factories, you lost the workplace as as an organizing base.
I seen a man across the street from me lose his job. I seen the people down the street lose their job. I seen uncles, cousins, and lose their job, right?
The reason that supposedly young black men, desert families is they can't earn a family wage to support a family. One of